Ms. Brown, what comments can you give us on chewing gum?
Chewing gum is very, very important as well. Some people chew gum and it's a nervous thing that they do, and they don't realize that they're doing it. Some of them don't understand that when they go in and they're talking, they might chew gum in between while they're having a conversation because now they've forgotten that they have it. So gum chewing, you just don't want to do it. If you need to chew gum before you go in there for whatever reason, those are all nervous things that I tell people you definitely don't want to talk with gum in your mouth. It's just not something that's professional either. So when you're done, you leave out it, I can throw the gum right back in my mouth, but gum chewing is just not something that you do in an interview, basically. Okay. We'll get more into what you actually do in an interview as you answer questions and things like that. Those are going to be things on the next page as we go through it. So I want you guys to go ahead and turn to the next page. We questions on the proper attire and things like that? Okay. All right, the interview process. Send out resumes. And the reason resumes was at the very beginning is because in order to get an interview, you got to have a resume. Okay? So you do the research on the companies. What I tell people is when I am going for an interview or I am interested in getting hired from a company and they call me because I sent out the resume and I get called for the interview, then guess what? I go on the internet, I research that company. It's very, very important that you know where you're getting ready to work and know something about that company. Okay, very, very important. Next thing on here is have an idea about the salary for the job that you're interested in. Can anybody tell me why they think that might be important?
Well, it might be important because like you want to know how much you get paid, and when you get paid, you don't want to get ripped off.
Okay, okay.
I was gonna say like so you know how much you're gonna pay, you can pay your bills.
Okay, okay. That's a great answer, but it's not the right answer. Okay. Once you get on your job, you definitely want to know, what you're making. You want this?
When it comes to salary, you don't want to ask for too much. You should know exactly how much for the position.
And she's basically on the right track. When it comes to salary, you want to know how to negotiate your salary. So I go out and I look on the internet. I find out the range that job might pay. So that when I go in there and I'm sitting down and they're talking to me about it, I'm not going to go too low and I'm not going to go too high. So if I go to the job and it pays $30,000 and I'm asking them for $50,000, then they're not going to hire me because that job doesn't warrant $50,000. Or if I go there and I don't, the job does warrant $50,000 and I put $30,000. They could possibly think this person doesn't even know how much a job like this pays. They're probably not qualified for a job of this caliber. So that's why it's important to know that when you get in there and they say, okay, you might put down there that you want $40,000, but because you know the job pays $50,000, and now you got some room for leverage, okay, in there. So that's very, very important that you know how much a job pays. I've seen it happen over and over where people didn't know how much it was and they got a small amount where they could have got a whole lot more had they had known how much the job paid. So it's just about going out on the internet, putting in the city and state where you're at. That's important. Jacksonville might pay different than Miami, so you want to make sure that you're in the city and state, and then you want to put in for that job so that you know what kind of salaries are out there. So you're basically in there and you're able to be confident and talk about what you want and be on the right track. Okay, questions about that? Okay, make sure, this is real important. Let me ask this question first. What's on your voicemail if I call your telephone? Do you have a telephone? What does it say? Okay, does anybody have a voicemail on this? Okay, all right, well that's very good if you just let the phone answer and use whatever the default version is. You definitely, when looking for a job, want to make sure that it doesn't come on and answer and say, hey, this is so-and-so. Hey, I'm out right now robbing the bank. Call me back later, because they think that's funny. Okay, I can't tell you the people that have not gotten a job because they thought it was funny and they didn't even remember that they had that on there. We just hang up the phone. We don't even want that person because they might not be like what's on there, but you've already scared me. So when you know that you're getting ready to look for a job and you get that out there in the industry, make sure that your voicemail says your name, because they might dial the wrong number, and if you don't even say your name, they don't know that they dialed the right number. Hi, this is Carmen Reynolds. I'm not available right now, and the rest. You want to make sure that your name is there so that the person knows that they called the right number. Okay, that's very, very important with your voicemail. And then Facebook. Does anybody here have Facebook? Okay. Facebook has been, and you guys watch TV, has been the make or break for a whole lot of people. It can make you lose your job and the whole 9 yards. I now work with companies that before they hire you, they go out and check your Facebook. If there's something crazy on there, you might not get the job. I've also been with companies that while you're working there, they go out and check your Facebook also. And you know when you get hired, they say, we could periodically check your Facebook. So you've been on the with the company for 3 or 4 years, you decide one day you want to go out and get drunk, and then you put it on the internet, and then you call in sick to work next day, but they see you, that you was out, you know. So it's very, very important that you Facebook, and you can say, but I'm not their friend. Well, they have a way that they can still go in and look at your Facebook. So Facebook is very, very important when you're out there looking for a job, because everybody checks it now because they know people put foolish things on there. So how do I find out what kind of person I have? It depends on what's on that Facebook. Just know that they can, you know, go out and check that. Facebook and voicemail on your phone is very, very important. Okay?
Ms.
Questions?
Carmen, what about email addresses?
Okay. Email addresses are important. You want an email address on your resume, okay, because that's a form of social media. That's a form of getting in contact with you as well. So if you have email addresses and you know that that's the way for someone to contact you, then you want to make sure that that's on your resume also. Okay. As we move further along in the class and I come back and I talk to you guys again, then I will tell you exactly how your email should look and when it's on your resume. Everything that should be on your resume as far as contact information, you know, is going to be there. So emails are important. If you don't have one, they're all free. You want to create one, because that's a way that you're going to be able to send resumes. Nobody really lets you come in right now and just hand them anything. You got to go to the internet to send resumes for everybody. Then you go to the kiosk. Even McDonald's says go online and look it up. Winn-Dixie, you got to go over to their little machine. Publix, and all that. So if you're putting in applications, you definitely want to know at least how to go onto the internet, and you want to have your email address, because that's how people respond back to you about certain things. Okay? Yes.
I have 2 questions. One, when you was talking about the Facebook, what if they have their name as something else?
Well, then they can't find you. That would be totally different if your name is there or a picture or something and they know it's you. But you know, just make sure on your Facebook when you're looking for a job, you don't put anything out there that's too risky.
Okay. And for the email, you said like it has to be like our name and stuff. Or like
No, your email can be whatever you want it to be. But when you put it on your resume, you just want to make sure you add it on there.
Okay.
Yeah, so the email address can be whatever you want. You just make sure that you put it on there so that they can contact you by that as well. That's all. So it doesn't have to be anything special. All right, so set job interviews that you know you can make. I used to work with a lot of people, and sometimes they would set the interview and then not show up. Okay? Worst thing that you can do, because that might be your one shot to be able to get with the company. Emergencies happen, and if an emergency happens, you make the phone call and say, I cannot make it. But if all else doesn't fail, then you should make the interview. Don't make one that you can't make it to, because that is not good. And again, you might only get one shot at it. You know, if you know that you're not going to be able to take a job and get there every day, then don't go for a job like that. You go for the job, you get it, and then you got to find out, how do I get there every day? You know, and that's not a problem that you really want, because now they got a good person, they want you there, but they can't get to work every day. You know, so make sure that it's something that you can get to. If you can't get to the interview, then you're probably usually not going to be able to make it to the job every day. So make sure that it's something that's doable for you. Okay? Questions?
Yes, I have a question. Suppose, what do you do if you haven't researched the job as far as salary-wise, and you're nervous to ask?
Well, they are normally going to talk to you about salary, not on the first time, after you get a job. So there's no need to talk about it on the first interview unless they bring it up to you. And if all else fails, you put negotiable. Then you just kind of got to accept what they give you. But on the first interview, normally salary is not talked about, normally. Because why should they talk to you about salary unless they feel like they're going to hire you? So if you're coming back in again and you get hired, that's normally when they start talking salary. So if you don't automatically know when a company calls you the first time that you go in there, they're usually not going to talk about salary. If you get the job, then you definitely need to have went out and did the research. So then you can be a person that can talk back and forth about, you know, what you're worth and what that job is all about. So, but that does come in line with researching that company. Okay? A person that doesn't research a company with me, that's sitting down for an interview, and I ask them some questions and they know absolutely nothing, I feel like they don't think that the job was important enough for them to go out and do the research. I want to know where I'm working at, because if they had some problems in the past, maybe that's not a place I want to work at. That's important. You know, that dentist that just got in trouble? Hey, you know, somebody that might have looked him up might not have went there to work had they have found out what his history was like. So it's important. Okay. Now, last page. This page is really, really important. Okay? So don't look at the page yet. Don't read it. Can somebody tell me what a soft skill is? Yes.
Soft skill, things that you
Okay, not really, sort of, but I'll, anybody else?
The soft skill is like something you can do but you're not good at.
But try, no. So a lot of people don't know what a soft skill is, but they use it every single day, all day, okay? Soft skills are interpersonal skills that characterize relationships with other people, okay? So if you look at this page, commitment, personal habits, and I'm gonna go over all these, integrity, so you'll know what they mean, honesty, respect, teamwork, and dependability. Okay? So from the first time you come into the door and you're coming to class, to work, whatever kind of respect you have, those are soft skills. We use soft skills every day. And I put down here at the bottom, it's very, very important that you remember this. Soft skills are the #1 reason people get fired from jobs. You can have the best person at a job. They come to work every day. They know how to do their job. Guess what? They're mean and rude. They're disrespectful. They come back from lunch late. If you come back from lunch late, tell me how you think it might affect your coworker.
It would affect my coworker really bad because say if I need that person in a certain area, but they just came from lunch really late.
Action. That's a good one. So yes, if he comes back from lunch late and she's been waiting to go, he's already infringed on her lunchtime. She might have to come back early now because they have to go at a certain time. And it's a matter of respect. So if I'm going to be late to work and I don't call and let them know I'm going to be late or I'm going to be absent, those are soft skills. Those are soft skills that all I had to do was call somebody. It's courtesy. Because me being to work late can affect a whole lot of other things. If I'm nasty to him at work every day and not nice to him and I keep little things going on, okay, that's a soft skill. That's not a good one. So soft skills are things that you do